Holy shit, what a volume. Witch Hat Atelier has always managed to impress me, but I think the Silver Eve arc has really been bringing my love for it to a brand new level. Before we dive into that, let's talk a bit about that volume cover. I saw this cover for months in low quality, but man oh man, it's so cool to see this Custous cover in HD. It feels so good. I love the warm orange, yellow and tan tones. They come together beautifully. I honestly get a lot of Icarus and Fallen Angel symbolism from Custous' story, so it's really cool to see all of that kind of represented here. Like, look at the guy. He has a hat made of feathers, a device which allows him flight, and a curiosity which may lead him too close to the sun. That's Icarus symbolism if I've ever seen it. The wing cloak being such a key part of his design is another great way to show that Custous isn't too far gone. He still values Koko and Tartar's friendship and their gift. It helps that this cloak makes him look drippy as hell. He looks so damn stylish. Look at him. This cover has some beautiful artistry, and I'm really glad that Shirahama keeps making banger cover designs like this. I really want to try getting this one at some point because it's probably one of my favourites so far. I don't often have in-depth thoughts about volume covers, but Custous looks so cool here. This is a Custous appreciation space. Let's thank Shirahama for this awesome character design. Great job, Custous. Looking sharp. One thing I noticed about this volume is a running theme of deceit, trust, and lies. Once you look for it, you can start seeing it everywhere. You can see it in Belderit, you can see it in Custous, Rilifin, Iolio, hell, even in characters we only see bits of like Quifri, Dagda, and Dinreldi. Every character we see gets influenced by these themes surrounding truth and lies. In chapter 69, Quifri wonders why Aesthes is being all cryptic when he's given the lockback seal. Quifri clearly has thoughts about if secrets and half-truths could lead to Witchkind's ruin, and I don't really blame him. Aesthes is one of the least forthright characters in the story. It's clear he has a deeper reason for his justice than we know about, but I can't really tell when Shirahama will begin to reveal it. Personally, I like to think that Aesthes witnessed a young witch breaking the principles, leading to disastrous consequences, which is why he's so hard on Koko. He doesn't want a repeat of the past, which is probably why he's trying to remind others that age isn't a shield for breaking the principles. Where was I? Oh yeah, the lies and deception. This volume is constantly teaching us how lies and deception can complicate things. Our understanding of characters like Belderit, Iolio, and Dinreldi all get complicated by learning of their true nature. The veil being intact keeps the world from feeling too complex or messy. Witches are mysterious saviors, and outsiders who want magic are greedy. But a lot of characters in Witch Hat don't fall into simple black and white binaries. Belderit can be deceptive and sinister, while still being a silly guy, and the silver-tongued Dinreldi can also be a wise and loving king. There's a constant reappraisal needed in how we view the characters. A character being antagonistic in one scene does not mean that they cannot have admirable or light-hearted qualities in another. Characters can be reasoned with, even when most series would just slap a bad guy label on them and not discuss it further. The characters in Witch Hat refuse to be any one thing. This fits really well with how the series has been getting more political content throughout the Silver Eve, with Dinreldi and Legras' plotline. Shout out to Legras, by the way. I don't really see him discussed all that much, but I think he's a really sweet guy. Also, he gets one of the best spreads this volume, so that instantly makes him even cooler. A lot of characters' true natures are also revealed in this volume too. The truth isn't always a bad thing. It can really help with the clarity of characters' motivations and their intentions. I love that another memory rewind isn't enough to stop Dagda from being horrified by the witch's justice system. Seriously, I love that he just goes, "Wait, what the fuck are you talking about?" We're learning that the person who saved Custous is currently trying to fight him for having a weird looking hat. I like that this isn't just a one-time feeling he has in the Galgo fight. He sees the absurdity of this system and pretty readily calls out how insane a form of justice this is. Big shout out to Dagda, we should all be a bit more like him. I think Relifin getting to open up to Iolio about the abuse he experienced is really powerful. There's real courage and strength in a victim speaking up and being heard. Zayamaya sums it up perfectly. How Relifin sharing his discomfort and hardships will allow everyone to be more accommodating to others' needs. Everyone reacts to circumstances differently. And I think it's cool that there is an acknowledgement that the relief effort needs to account for that. I think it's the little details and plots like this which really put Witch Hat above other series I've read. Like, it's not every day you see this level of care and sympathy surrounding these sensitive topics, you know? And oh my god, it's so sweet seeing Relifin and Richak reunite. They're so wholesome. 10 out of 10 wholesome points from me. But one of my favourite aspects being explored in this volume is Koko and Custous' dynamic. Custous is basically doing anything in his power to validate his use of forbidden magic, whilst also helping the forgotten folk of Muckpool who got left behind in the Leech's attack. I don't entirely get what he means by Highheart turning spells upon people, but I think it's clear at this point Custous is lashing out at anyone he considers an enemy. And wow, Highheart might have been the worst person for him to meet at this point. His dogmatic view of the principles draws a very clear line in the sand between right and wrong. It's pretty depressing seeing him view Custous' help as some kind of scheme, like, "Bro, Judy just wants to save you. Why can't you see that?" It's obvious that this is something that Highheart's been taught since he was a kid. He's probably been told his entire life that the Brim Hats are evil, with no exceptions. So seeing him refuse to compromise his beliefs, even as he's bleeding out in front of his apprentice, is so gutting. Dude just sees Custous as an evil criminal and wants nothing to do with him. Juji's character work here is probably the most extensive look at her in a crisis. And whilst I want more, I think what we've got so far is a great basis for the future. Her having to experience such a challenging conflict firsthand is so sick. Same with the realization that Custous is providing aid, but in a way that he wasn't supposed to. I'm always surprised at the new lenses that Shirahama manages to give us for viewing the conflict around the forbidden spells. And man, Koko here, she's so cool. Just like Dagda, she's wanting to pay forward the kindness that she was shown and give it to Custous. I think that her wanting to take up the same role that Qifrey was to her is a beautiful cycle of kindness. Validating Custous as he enters this strange and overwhelming world of magic is such a noble goal. She sees so much of herself in him. So she's probably one of the best people suited for handling this situation. This feels like such a far cry from her in chapter 50. She goes from being torn between hope and despair, possibly her lowest moment so far, to now having the confidence to face off against even Beldoret after an incredibly traumatizing day. She's so cool. I really like how the thing that brings Custous back to reality is the sheer absurdity of Koko's smoke sculpture being just a floating head. It's so easy to get stuck in your own head with self-seriousness and to lose perspective like Custous did. And I think that this little moment of humour and connection is the thing that really helps Custous out of that rut. I think it helped that Koko understood where he was coming from. She didn't try and talk him down, she just tried to show some understanding and kindness. And then she proceeded to fuck up being cool and looks really funny in the process. Custous kept feeling like he was being punished for wanting to help, so Koko managed to find a way that validates his use of the counterpart seal, is a really creative solution to the situation. In a way, Koko is allowed for a forbidden spell to be used for a legitimate purpose, just like the Brims they wanted her to do in Serpentback Cave. Obviously, it's still up in the air whether or not this will have a negative impact on witch society, but there will undoubtedly be a shift in the view of witches post-Silver Eve. The outsiders have now seen how magic can be used to both heal and hurt, which makes me fear the possibility for a witch war in the future. I'm telling you, Aesthe's They Can War speech is going to grow massively in importance. Just you wait. Deeply tied to this discussion is Belle and Vivnana's talk about the use of counterclock devices. I love the magical medical technology as much as the next guy, but I'm really glad that Vivnana talks about the potential for misuse. I for one would be terrified of being trapped in a time loop of the past, and I think that Dagda's experience is a great example of how bad your life could be. Fingers crossed that nobody will misuse this incredibly dangerous technology, which is in the heart of a non-magical area. I'm sure that Dean Reldy and Koko meeting is gonna be absolutely crazy, but can we talk about that cliffhanger? What do you mean Custous' eyes are going faint and his legs aren't working? What does that mean? Why is Quifrey's instincts telling him not to approach? Is this a tie to the Frithras spell, which he was so scared to stop? And why is everyone in danger? What the fuck is going on? All of that to say, I'm incredibly hyped for the future of this series. The past few volumes have had some incredible heights for this series, and I feel like my love for it will only grow as we reach the conclusion for the Silver Eve. Or at least I think we're getting near the end. It gets really hard to tell with all the rising action and the tension we've been seeing throughout. But at this point, who knows? Fingers crossed that Custous and company get out of the city safely. Thanks for watching this little review. It's been a long time since I've made a fully scripted video essay. I've been wanting to do more review-based stuff and more character-based stuff, but I've recently been absolutely swamped by life stuff, but I'm going to be trying to do things where I can. I'm wanting to try and do a review for Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring once I finish that. Expect more videos, infrequently, but still expect videos, and yeah, keep it easy and have a good day.